Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome to the next video entitled How Much Do I Need to Retire? Really popular subject and probably something that, somebody like me who talks about it every single day, you would expect just to give an answer. Well, why did we decide to do a video on this? Well, the reason is actually due to my own wife. We were having a conversation this week and I said to her, what do you think would be an interesting subject to do a video on? And she sort of took me back a little bit. She said, you should do it on how much money you need to retire. And I sort of thought, wow, I've been doing this job for years and go home and sit and talk to you over the dinner table about this kind of stuff. And you don't know the answer to that question for our own personal circumstances. So maybe I should get my own house in order, right? But it's probably a common thing that people think about. And actually, there isn't necessarily a right answer. So let's look at what the answer could be for different people. So what we're going to look at is 1, the concept, 2, income streams that already exist, and then 3, the delta and how you go about fixing it. So number 1, the concept. So I think the question is the wrong question, right? So how much do you need to retire? Makes people aim for a figure. You'll see people say, I want to get to $1 million, or I want to get to £2 million, or whatever it is. And actually, that's sort of thinking about it in the wrong way. The first thing that we should be looking at is what income we want, what income level we want. There's various different articles and schools of thought on this. There's an article that I'll put a link in to below that says, you should need about 80% of the income in retirement that you have during your working life. Personally, I think that's probably a little bit high. For me, I would consider that I'd want to be mortgage free on my main home. My kids would have probably flown the nest by then, or certainly maybe I'd have stopped supporting them in the way that I do now. And most of my normal day-to-day running costs, whether it's car finances or mortgage repayments or school fees or whatever it is, the big sort of bills that I pay, hopefully have gone by then. I don't commute as much to work at that given point in time. So maybe my income stream might need to be less than 80% of what it was when I was working, but that is going to be circumstantial. So the first thing to think about is what level of income you want. And for argument's sake, let's say that is, $5,000 a month or whatever it is. Okay, so that's the concept. So sit down with your advisor and properly work that out. Work out that retirement expenditure. Number 2, look at what assets you already have that are going to generate income at that point in time. So for a lot of us, particularly in the Western world, you pay social security or national insurance in the UK or whatever it is. And these things, despite what you might read in the papers and all the rest of it, these things are probably still going to be there when we get to retirement age, or at least you're going to get your money back. So there is going to be an income from there. If we take the UK as the example, the UK state pension, if you've maximised it, is going to be about £180 a week, just ever so slightly under that at the moment. So it's probably not enough to sustain you indefinitely, but it is still an income stream that needs to be considered in the maths. You might have personal pensions or 401ks in the US, or you might have ISAs in the UK, or Roth IRAs in the US, or there's every country has its own thing, but you might also have some savings that can provide a tax efficient income stream. Okay, so think about what you've already got, and then let's look at what the delta is. So if you wanted $5,000, for example, and you can already account for $2,000 as a couple, then there's obviously a $3,000 delta, isn't there? Okay. So then what we do is we go on to point number 3, we look at that delta. So the first thing is to, number 1, inflation proof it. That's really easy to do, really. Just round it up to an annual figure. So if it was $3,000 a month, that would become $36,000 a year. Take that figure and multiply it by inflation. So if you think inflation is going to be 2% a year, for example, on average for the next 20 years, and you want to retire in 20 years, just so 36,000 times 1.02 to the power of 20, and you're going to get what it is. Okay. At that point, what a lot of people say is work on a rule of 4%. So you would take a 4% drawdown from that total amount. So if we take the arbitrary figure of $1 million, 4% of $1 million is obviously 40,000. And the idea is there that through investment growth and income provision and all the other things, that you could comfortably take that $40,000 for about 30 years before the money runs out. And that would be a sort of inflation-proofed 4%. There are other theories on it that say, you could take 5% a year if you want to be conservative, make it 3% a year, maybe you'd want it 4% without being inflation-proofed, and all these kind of things are going to impact that maths a little bit. But sit down with your advisor, think about exactly what you want it to look like, and then work from there. It doesn't need to be $1 million, in a portfolio to generate that $40,000. It doesn't need to necessarily be in a portfolio that I might design. It could be property assets generating that 4%. It could be in a range of different things. Actually, we probably would want it in a range of different things so that we're nice and diversified. But it's an interesting topic. It's something that people probably think about quite a lot. I was very surprised when my own wife asked me the question, and it's something that all of us should really be thinking about and be on top of. Get advice on it. It's our bread and butter to sit down and talk about it every day, and your advisor will be able to give you a good solid plan as to how you work towards that figure. And then lastly, I know I always bang on about it, but don't forget taxation. In most jurisdictions on earth, income is taxable, and if you can do anything to make it tax efficient at least, then that is actually a cost saving, isn't it? And your advisor should be able to help you structure things in the right way in order to at least make them tax efficient. Not tax free, that's very difficult to do, but tax efficient is the main thing. So do get advice on that. I hope that was useful. Please do like, share and subscribe as ever, and if you have any questions, then please do get in touch, reach out, and we'll do our best to help you where we can. Have a good week.